My lovers, welcome to my channel. My name is Made for Love, and today we will be doing a past life reading. In the general reading, we're going to look at when were you first incarnated, okay, who were you then, and what lessons you may have learned. And then we look at which past lives and experiences are heavily impacting upon this current lifetime. And then I will get some advice for you. In the extended, we look at when you and your twin or higher level soulmate were incarnated together, when you guys first incarnated together. Who are you guys to each other? And which past lives and experiences are heavily impacting both of you guys in this current lifetime? And then we're going to look at what's going to be a person's next actions towards you within a month of you watching this reading. Okay. Just a reminder, on next sacred site activation, for those of you that participate in that live gathering, our next one is actually going to be on the 1111 portal. So a powerful portal, a powerful activation then. So we're inviting everyone to come. It's usually myself and Third Eye in Liari, and it's going to be streamed on both platforms, on YouTube. And then there is a portal discount from now till the end of the week. It's 20% off all readings and services in honor of 1111 portal. And then I do still have spots open from the second week in November. I forgot to tell you guys that the calendar was open for November actually. But the first week is already sold out. So there's spots for the second week and for the 1111 portal. So if you want a reading for that portal itself, whether it's an energy portal reading or otherwise, there's still spots on. Okay, so let's get into this reading. All right, so the first thing we're going to ask, when were you first incarnated? So what I want to do is ask, who were you in that lifetime? Who were you in that lifetime? So we're focusing on you and your past life experiences. Who were you in the lifetime that's coming through when you were first incarnated? Who were you? Okay, we have celebration and joy, guys. Well, whatever it was, whoever you were there to enjoy yourself. And you know, that's usually the earmarks of a first incarnation. You're basically in that Aries energy where it's all about exploration. It is about I am, okay? So it's about, you know, exploration. It's about enjoying yourself. Just like a child, you're feeling out the world. You're not really worried about living life a particular way. You're focused on exploration. You're doing your own thing, not interested in who it affects. You're more very much, I wouldn't say self-focused, but self-centered. And that's what you're meant to be doing. Right? That's what you're meant to be doing. All right, so who were you? That first incarnation. All right, so you party hard, party hard, and you burnt out, right? You know, well, maybe rock and roll, right? You know, don't just fade out, burnt out. You burnt yourself out. You lived hard. You loved hard. You had major heartbreaks, you know. And it looks like, as I told you before, the idea wasn't ascension. The idea was exploration. So you didn't get far up that ascension ladder. You kind of burnt yourself out there, right at the base layer. And it kind of reminds me of, you know, Maslow's theory, right? So you were right there on the base level, and that is all basic needs: food, shelter, clothing, sex. This is what you were concentrating on in that lifetime. And at the end of that lifetime, you didn't have anything else to give because you did it all. You did it all. You did it all, my friend. You did it all. Okay? You lived. You did it all. All right. So when were you first incarnated? Let's get some more information. So it feels like you racked up a lot of lessons, guys. Okay? And maybe quite possibly some karmic debts, okay? So let's see. Right? You're starting to party hard. It's what you were meant to do. So not to judge yourself for that. That's what you're meant to do in that lifetime. We have communal living. So you may have even been part of a community, a very close-knit community um, of like-minded people, doing the same thing. When we get this communal living card, it can also signal as well um, a level of codependency, being dependent on other people for your basic needs, for your survival. And if this is coming through, it means that there's a theme of codependency that you may face in this particular lifetime. In fact, your journey might be to move from being dependent to being independent and dependent. Okay, so there's a relationship with finding balance between independent, interdependent, and independence. There's something wonky that's going on. Okay. All right. When were you first incarnate? Suddenly I can't even speak, and I can't even hear. I'm just popping my air all the time. So strange. All right. All right. So, love life. You were busy. You're busy. And I kind of picked it up with this card again. Lots of green in that card. So, as I said, you loved hard and you experienced some serious heartbreak as well. Let's see what else is coming through. We have trees. Now, when I see trees, it's usually a signal that somebody needs to be more grounded, and it looks like you did need to be more grounded in lifetime. But it can also talk about ancestors and ancestral karma. Okay, so we definitely get an indication that whatever seeds you sowed in this lifetime, they're still very much operational. Sorry, whatever seeds you sowed in that particular lifetime that's coming through, it seems like they're still very much operational and may have even grown since that time. So it feels like what we're tapping into is a lot of unfinished business in terms of you learning karmic lessons and transmuting karmic debts that you racked up in this first lifetime. We have persecution and inquisition. Okay, and maybe you might have been even judged for the way that you lived your life. So maybe in this lifetime, at the beginning especially, you've kept a very low profile, may have even tried hiding your true self from other people because of the experiences that you brought over from this first lifetime into this present one. So we're going to pull some cards on this, but this is what I'm getting as the cards come out. And then we have a nun or monk. Okay, so it feels like as well that whatever happened in this lifetime, I'm getting the two main vows coming through. It feels like there's some karma surrounding your sexuality, and there's some karma surrounding abundance, which is interesting because what I wanted to do for you today was a clearing all blocks to abundance. And it did say that there was a past life that would come through. And because I heard a past life would come through, I said, you know what, let me do a past life reading so we get a little bit more information. So it feels like if you have any issues in terms of your sexuality, whether expressing it or being on opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of practicing your sexuality, whether you're hiding it, or you might be hypersexual, or you might be living like a monk or nun, or kind of out there. It feels like there's some balance that needs to be achieved in terms of how you practice your sexuality. And because sexual energy is so closely linked to abundance and creative energy, whatever you are doing with your sacral chakra energy right now, it is directly impacting your abundance. So if you're stifling your sacral chakra, like possibly me, now I find other ways, I create things. If you're stifling your sacral chakra, then you're possibly stifling your abundance. And if you're kind of, spreading your love out there, no judgment from me, okay? If you're spreading your love out there, it could be that because your energies are so scattered that you're not able to create what you want to manifest right now. So there's a kind of wake up call that spirit wants to give you right now. They're saying that the lessons from this lifetime still persist. And I'm also linking that back to this persecution and inquisition. I definitely think, however you may have practiced your sexuality in that lifetime, it may have brought a lot of judgment upon you, maybe even ostracization. Oh my God, sometimes I can't even say words, right? So now you're afraid to express yourself, right? That's why I couldn't speak. Now you're afraid to express yourself. Now you're stifling yourself because of what you experienced in this lifetime. And Spirit saying it might even be spread along through your whole ancestral tree, where people may have issues with their sexuality and all areas of their sexuality, and may have issues with manifesting and keeping their abundance. So that's something that's coming through. So your love life, your sexuality is playing a critical role in your abundance in this lifetime, and also it's in spirit saying it's impacting your present lifetime. So let's pull some cards on this and let's see where this is going. Let me use this to clarify instead of a normal tarot. All right. Spirit, what about this lifetime? All right, we have perfection. And you know what I get with this perfection card? I get the mask, right? Projecting an image of what everybody wants you to be. Because the message that you downloaded in that lifetime is that your real self isn't good enough. And your real self will leave you open to judgment. All right, let's see what's going on with the love life in this lifetime. We have impartiality, neutrality. So it feels like, you had you yourself had no judgment on yourself in that lifetime, but other people. So you were there enjoying yourself, living your life as you were supposed to do. But other people may have had a lot to say, because that looks like the justice card. Even though it says impartiality, it looks like the justice card, right? A lot of people may have had a lot to say in this lifetime about your love life. Okay, maybe you rendered a lot of service. I'm sorry, guys. And it's a sacral chakra card. It is a sacral chakra card. It's orange. So I do think you rendered a lot of service. Well into your senior years. Good on you. All right. And you may have been quite expansive with your love. But it feels like you were judged for that, not by yourself, but other people projected their own judgments onto you, and then it feels like those judgments were internalized. So even in this lifetime, you may find yourself judging yourself when you do things with regard to, in relation to your sexuality. Okay, whether it's your choice of sexual partners, how frequently or not frequently you have sex, that kind of thing, right? So there's an issue with sexuality that's still going on. Spirit tells us about trees, and it says perseverance. So it feels like this still persists. This still persists, and it feels like this does not only affect you, it's something that's intergenerational. Okay? Right? And it is being persecuted for how you live your life. Now, in this lifetime, it looks like there's meant to be some kind of transmutation of that energy and self-acceptance. Okay? But it does not come without some sort of challenge and some sort of grief in this lifetime, right? Where you are judging yourself. So in that lifetime, we have an impasse. Okay? So it feels like even in this lifetime, you may have lived your life in extremes. So on one hand, or maybe the beginning, you're there, spreading your love around or whatever, or maybe just like vacillating between the two, right? Spreading your love around and then judging yourself for it. And then you may go, long stints of celibacy. Then, you go out there, play the field again, long stints of, so that living life in the extremes all the time, and feeling this tug of war between perhaps society's judgments and your true nature. Okay? And maybe this is something that you have brought along to this lifetime, and it's something that you're meant to make peace with. Okay? All right, now let's ask Spirit. Which past lives and experiences are heavily, so which ones are impacting the most, this lifetime the most? Which past lives and experiences are heavily impacting this current lifetime? We have a karmic relationship, okay? So there's a relationship, and it could be karmic as in the way we use a karmic, right? Someone that's teaching you lessons through pain, someone that you've known before, okay? It could be the karmic partner of someone that you're romantically attached to, okay? So there's a karmic relationship that's coming through. So we're going to dig deep into that. What else is impacting? Native American. Now, whenever I see Native American, I always get two things. I always get spiritual or healing gifts coming through, and you're meant to use in this lifetime. But I also get that same persecution energy. Okay? That same persecution energy. So let's see. We have leaving or traveling, but this is my baggage card. So that lets me know that all this, in this particular lifetime that we're tapping into, all this baggage has been brought over. Nothing was resolved in this particular lifetime. And then we have food or hunger. And food or hunger talks about a scarcity complex, which is something I touched on before, right? So having an interesting relationship with abundance, and abundance in its many forms, okay? Because some of us, it's not just about monetary things. It can also be, well, it's not just about money. It can also be about things, and it can also be about people, right? We're in the scarcity complex, and we always think, we don't ever want to be without, so we may even hoard things and hoard people, okay? Having a lot of options, having a safety net for the safety net, and then a safety net for the safety net for the safety net, right? So it feels like, and it might be tied into this first lifetime as well, okay? You've brought over a lot of baggage that you're only just beginning to unpack. All right, Spirit, tell us about this karmic relationship that is impacting you heavily in this lifetime. So we have instinct. So it's a spiritual connection that you have with this person, and it feels like this relationship, this karmic relationship, is meant to trigger your spiritual awakening. Okay, it feels like you're kind of complacent to kind of living your life, a very mundane existence, and then this person comes along and triggers you into this awakening and triggers all your trauma. All your trauma. You may have even been the victim of this person in a past lifetime, and they've come up and they have triggered so many feelings, or they could have been on the receiving end of something that you did in that lifetime, and they are triggering a lot of guilt for you. So what's meant to happen is that both of you guys are meant to extend forgiveness to each other and come to some sort of closure and some closure or resolution, and extract the wisdom from the experience, and not just the anger, the rage, the grief. So I think this karmic relationship, I feel like this is your person. And I'm saying that they're karmic to you in terms of you guys are transmuting karmic lessons together. You guys are transmuting or paying off karmic debts together. And you guys are teaching each other lessons. And at the end of it all, you guys are meant to forgive each other and extract the wisdom from the experience and not just the pain of what happened in this lifetime and in the previous lifetimes. Okay? Now we have Native American spirit. Tell us a little bit about that. Right? And we have a see what I tell you, mysticism. So you have brought over a lot of spiritual gifts, a lot of insight, a lot of perception, right? And you're a deeply spiritual person, half of which you've not even begun to uncover. So it feels like in this lifetime, you're meant to walk a spiritual path. For some of you, because this looks like a church door, for some of you, you might be walking away from established religion, maybe in some kind of period of deconstruction, religious deconstruction. So there is that as well, because there's another path that is calling you. In this lifetime, you guys are meant to leave a baggage behind. Right? And you're meant to realize that if this person did reject you, if you have some kind of rejection wound or abandonment wound, that it was spirit's protection and it's exactly what was meant to happen. So it feels like whatever baggage that you've brought, feelings of being unwanted or abandoned or rejected, you guys are meant to leave that behind and recognize that you are perfect and that you are enough. This is the destiny, and it's a destiny that you're doing hand in hand with this other person. Right? You guys are walking this path together. You guys are partners in crime, or partners in ascension. And one of the things that you guys are working on is on scarcity consciousness, okay? And recognizing that everything that you could ever want, everything that you could ever want to manifest, it's all inside of you. So there's no need to hoard things. The universe is vast. The universe is there to meet your needs and support you. You will always have. You will always have options. Okay? All right. So in the extended reading, we're going to dive a little deeper into the relationship between you and your person, looking at when you guys were first incarnated together and which past lives and experiences are impacting this current lifetime. But if you're not able to join me in the extended, this is Spirit's message for you today. This is from the messages from the angels, and I don't think I've ever used this deck to read for you guys. Okay, so it says, Akasha, past lives, right? You are a spiritual teacher. You have the ability to counsel others and help them awaken their spiritual gifts and divine life mission. So it comes back to that. So while Spirit is giving you insight as to what is the personal work that you're meant to do in this lifetime, you also have a wider mission. And for a lot of you, that mission is to teach. To teach. You have a lot of sacred wisdom inside of you, and you're meant to share it with other people. Okay? This is a past life gift that is coming through. So a lot of you are being called to be teachers, but a lot of you are being called to be spiritual teachers. And it says here, Seraphina, I am the angel of families. A happy change or addition is coming to your family. So it feels like for some of you guys, you might be called to teach children, okay? Or maybe it could be a fur baby or something like that. But there is a new addition to the family that you are going to take under your wing. You are going to be this person's mentor, this person's parent, okay? It says a happy change is coming to your family, or maybe somebody's going to adopt a child. You might adopt a child or something like that, but you are meant to teach this person whatever lessons you've learned in this lifetime. You're meant to pass on and change and shake up your family tree. Okay? I'm love. So that was your reading. I hope that was helpful. Can I ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel, like, share. You can put a comment down below. You can even dislike the video, because that also helps our channel grow and expand. Okay? I'll see you guys. Take care. Bye.